guys, today I'm here to chat about a few new drugstore products that just didn't work out for me. If you're looking for a more positive environment, head over to my best new drugstore makeup video, which I will link to down below. But with the good comes the bad sometimes, and of course, as always, these are my personal preferences and products that just didn't work out for me. And if they are your favorite products, you don't need to worry about me walking into the drugstore and picking it up before you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first item that was a miss for me was a product that has had a few different iterations. Didn't seem like many people liked them. Although no, that's not true. It was like hit or miss big time. And I was like, I'm gonna be on the hit side. I'm gonna love this. The shades are beautiful. Just didn't do it for me, guys. I don't know what is up with this formulation on the Maybelline 24K Nudes palette. It just is super weird. It has like kind of like hard pan, even though I didn't get the shadows wet. The shadows almost stiffened up as I used them and the texture changed. The gold in here, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Used it on my finger in a trying out new drugstore video. I will link to it down below where I make use of this palette. But overall, I just don't think it's good. Even if it is like $12, $13, not good. It is missing the classic mid-tone brown, which just about every single drugstore palette is missing. But the shades swatch really well. I've got a blog post where I swatch them. It looks really good, but when you go to put them on your eyes, they look muddy, they lose their color, they lose the pigmentation, and I just do not think it's worth it. Even if the gold shade in here is beautiful, you can get a gold single elsewhere, but this is just a miss. And it sucks because Maybelline makes some of my favorite foundations, mascaras, and lip products, but this, I'm skipping it. L'Oreal makes another one of my favorite foundations, so I was really excited about this guy, and this seems to have split the beauty community as well. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. This was a miss for me for a number of reasons. The shade range to me was super odd. It didn't really make any sense. The shades also did not translate nicely from the L'Oreal Pro Matte, which it's like, guys, just make it easy for us to pick our shade, especially if they're going to change the packaging, give you this tiny little sliver here where you can barely see the color, and they have this like fake color on the outside. But mostly for me, the formulation on this was just a big time miss. It is really, really moussey. It almost has a matte texture, which it says that it is natural, which I don't agree. It felt so heavy on the skin, and I didn't think it blended very nicely either, but just the feeling of it on my skin felt so heavy. It also had in the ads like basically like they were covering up tattoos. Not the case. I do not think you could get full coverage out of this, and you really don't want to put too much of this on your face because of that really heavy feeling. I love the L'Oreal Pro Matte. It's absolutely one of my favorites. It's more of a medium coverage, and this was just, it just didn't do it for me. I didn't like it with a sponge, with a brush. I will link to the review down below if you want to see it and how it held up throughout the day. There have been a bunch of new brow products coming out at the drugstore, which I really appreciate, and I really love a lot of them, but I have come across two items that just, for me, they're not what I look for in a brow product. The first is from Almay. It is the brow pencil. Yeah, the brow pencil. So it comes in two different shades, which fine, whatever. But for me, the shade brunette is basically black, and then the shade dark blonde is closer to brown, but not brown enough. So if you have blonde hair, this isn't going to work for you. If you have brown hair, unless it's really, really dark, I don't think this is going to work for you. On top of that, the texture is brutal. So creamy, but in a bad way. Hard to work with, hard to make a natural looking brow. It's just too creamy. It's too creamy. I don't like it. I like my pencil to be a little bit more stiff, a little bit more waxy, so that you can actually like create lines and it doesn't look super harsh and stark. But this, if you draw on even with a light hand and you try to like, you know, enhance your arch or a tail, it literally just looks like you've taken a marker and drawn it onto your face. So it's kind of like a really intense brow pomade in a pen format, and with a brow pomade you really want to use a brush, you want to dip in lightly, and you don't have the option with this, so it's just too hardcore. I think the same can be said for this product from Revlon. It is their Color Stay Brow Pencil, and this also has just a far too creamy texture, and Revlon and Almay are actually affiliated brands. I think Revlon owns Almay, or Almay owns Revlon. I don't know. There's some connection there. And I think that the formulation might actually be very similar because it has a similar tip. This one is in the shade dark brown. Again, a little bit too deep for me, but you know, color is color. Not everything is going to match me, but the texture is just too hard to work with. It is, again, too creamy. You can't get a natural brow, and I just don't like it at all. From Hard Candy, super disappointing. I really wanted to love this. I think it's super cool, innovative, beautiful price. It's like $6, beautiful packaging. It is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Prismatic Highlighter Iridescent Pearl Powder. That's a mouthful. Even just looking at this, you can tell it is a chalky mess. I used it, put it in action in my Hard Candy video. I used it with my regular highlighting brush, then I went in with more dense brush, then I doused my brush with setting spray and turned it into like a cream, and no way, shape, or form did this work. It is totally a personal preference thing, kind of, I guess. But I have a warm skin tone. I like a more warm highlight, but this looked nice and pinky purple, so I thought it could look really cool on my skin. So chalky, doesn't have enough pigmentation, has micro glitter in there as well, so it's kind of like it doesn't give you the sheen to your skin. Like right now you can see there's a sheen on my skin, and this just didn't do that. It has a ton of powder kick up. It looks like bumpy and hard in the pan. You can feel the texture. It's like it has too much white base in it, I think, and then the white base kind of disappears and just leaves like micro glitter on your cheeks, and there's no sheen to it, there's no glow, there's definitely no like wet look. So if you have a lighter skin tone, or if you've been interested in these kind of things, I mean, it costs like $6, so it's not a huge risk, but if those kind of attributes are things that you don't look for in a highlighter, definitely skip it. But if you have been curious about it, I mean, it's I don't know. I want to give it like a few thumbs up because it's super cool, but for me, I will not be using this again. Another product from Almay that just didn't do it for me was the Almay The Complete Look, and you can totally tell that Almay and Revlon are affiliated because this looks just like the Revlon palettes that came out. I never tried those. This I had high hopes for because it swatched decently. I felt like the gold and neutral shades in the medium skin tones palette was nice, although the blush in here makes no sense and is like a light beige and is not going to show up on anybody. The blush in the deeper skin tone palette was quite nice, and the purple shadows were okay too. But when you go to put it on your face, it's like it all just got super muddy. I don't like that it has the little pots of lip gloss in here. That's a personal preference. I'm never reaching for a lip palette. It's just how it is. The powders have gotten into the lip products as well, so that's going to change the color and mess it up if you're dipping into the lip product and you get like the deep purple eyeshadow in there. That's going to transform that lipstick for sure. And I don't like these. I would rather have like a mini eyeshadow quad, a blush, and a lipstick, and these were just, again, not good. From Wet n Wild, this is not like the worst product in the world, but it's just kind of a waste to me, and it's like a throwaway kids makeup kind of thing. It is the Pout and Tell Gel Lip Balm. There's a bunch of different colors of these. They feel comfortable on the lips, but they have the texture that it feels good on your lips, but you know it's not moisturizing it. It's just kind of greasy, slips off your lips, doesn't stay long, doesn't leave them feeling hydrated. I think it only costs like $3, but you can definitely get better chapsticks out there, so it's not like the most offensive, horrible product and makes you look crazy or anything like that, but it's just like, don't buy it. From Essence, this is their Light Up Your Face Luminizer palette in Ready Set Glow. This is kind of a skin tone thing for me, and this happens a lot with Essence products because they're very much geared towards more fair skin tones, but their other like single highlight is quite good on me. This is just, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, it just is kind of chalky and powdery. There's not enough glow to it. If you have a very fair skin tone and you like a natural glow, this may be okay. It costs like $6, so again, not a huge like financial investment, but it's still annoying, especially when you buy something from the drugstore and you can't return it and then it just sits there. So for me, I definitely would recommend picking up the single pan over this. I've seen the single pan work on deeper and lighter skin tones because this just doesn't have that same soft glow. It is just more chalky and powdery. Lastly, I want to mention a mascara that didn't work for me, and mascara is so personal, so this could be your favorite ever, and I'm sorry, but it is not mine. It is the Covergirl So Lashy Blast Pro. I love a lot of Covergirl's mascaras, but this one was just, it's not what I look for. I look for a combination of volume and length. This gave a decent amount of length, an acceptable amount, but basically no volume, and that does not fly with me. It's not okay. I have a blog post with a before and after picture, so I linked it down below. My lashes are already quite long, quite curled, so I'm just looking to like amp them up a little bit, and this did basically nothing for me. I do like to layer my mascaras and put on a very volumizing one and then go in with one that's more lengthening, so I've been using this for that and on my lower lash line. I didn't have issues with flaking, but I don't ever really have issues with flaking, so that's not really something I can comment on, but for me this was just kind of a dud and didn't really do much. So there you have it, a whole bunch of duds. Save your money, do not purchase those unless they're your favorite, and then go purchase them again. I will link to my new drugstore favorites down below, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!